Remember the 510 horsepower Range Rover Sport? Yes, the supercharged one, which made angry sounds and was so fast it blew leaves off trees. In that review, I said Range Rover Sport V8 supercharged is not the fastest Range Rover because there's the SVR version, and it just so happens Range Rover Sport underwent a facelift. And what better car to show you these changes than an SVR?
SVR stands for Special Vehicle Racing. It's an SVO, Special Vehicle Operations Project. For JLR, it's like Audi's RS, BMW's M Division or Mercedes AMG. If you want something properly powerful and fast, you order a car with an SVR badge.
How powerful is the new Range Rover Sport SVR? What would you say to 575 horsepower, 700 Nm of torque, 4.5 seconds from 0 to 100 km per hour, and less than 3 seconds from 80 to 120 km per hour? So it's 1, 2, and here we are. Top speed, which I had no means of verifying, is 280 km per hour. Oh, and did I mention this thing weighs almost 2,400 kilograms?
In order to stop a speeding manor house like this, you need powerful brakes. Front discs are 380mm, 365mm in the rear. Does it stop? Till it hurts. As standard, SVR gets 21-inch rims. This one is on optional 22-inch wheels, which, despite a relatively high tire wall, I still managed to curb on my first day with this car.
Now I understand why people in large SUVs always drive in the middle of the road. It's not that they're being dicks, it's wealth management. Each of these rims costs €800 a piece. But let's get back to what Range Rover Sport SVR is like to drive.
Steering is direct, perhaps even twitchy at low speeds. You're cruising down the boulevard, you want to accelerate, and you better hold the wheel tight or you'll end up inside that Burberry store across the street. At high speeds, steering is tad light too, even in the most aggressive of settings. It's not as balanced as in the Porsche Cayenne. On the other hand, maneuvering this almost 490 cm long giant is relatively easy. Sound also helps because everyone runs in panic.
The ordinary V8 Range Rover Sport sounded pretty sweet, but here we get a two-stage exhaust which can be set to loud regardless of engine mode, and it sounds like someone is playing tin maraca filled with nails.
With sound like this, SVR doesn't need to be faster than a Cayenne because it sure as hell feels more exciting and somewhat annoying to others. My neighbor expressed hope I will not be testing more cars like this anytime soon because every time I start the engine, she is about to have a heart attack. And she's in her low 40s.
also on the wrong side of 40 and I'm beginning to appreciate comfort. For example, I was pleasantly surprised with the camera-based DS7 damping system. Of course, Range Rover Sport, as the name suggests, is somewhat sporty, so I don't expect a waterbed-like ride. But on the other hand, I can feel every bump. Unless roads are flat like tabletops where you live, this jittering will get old fast. Of course, you can tell your mates at the pub that Sport SVR beat an unofficial speed record on twisty Tianmen Road. This pile of bricks was 40 seconds faster than a Ferrari 458 Italia. But let's be realistic, you're buying this car to show off, not to corner flat. SVR can be loud, powerful, fast in the straight line. It can have bucket seats, but in everyday situations, a comfort mode would not be out of place.
Besides hard suspension, Range Rover Sport SVR remains a very comfortable car. These may look like bucket seats, but they offer a lot of adjustment, heating and even ventilation. Just because you've got almost 600 horsepower under the bonnet doesn't mean you're going to give up basic creature comforts.
Most of the time I keep the car in fully automatic mode and let the computer choose the right engine and all-wheel drive mode for me, depending on the driving style and road conditions. In automatic mode, you can even go off-road. However, I suggest you put the car in proper dedicated off-road mode, raise the suspension as high as you can, and only then try your luck in the dirt. It's going to be cheaper than damaging your undercarriage should the system underestimate an obstacle.
Unfortunately, with real-life combined fuel economy of around 15-16 liters per 100 kilometers, that's about 18 mpg, you're going to be a frequent guest at the petrol stations. 500-600 kilometers on one tank according to my calculations, though onboard computer is less optimistic. And yes, this car has a 105-liter tank.
I told you what this car is like to drive, but what really changed during the facelift? Most importantly, there is now a PHEV version, which I hope I'm going to test in foreseeable future, even though I don't expect this to be a big seller here in Poland.
Range Rover Sport PHEV offers up to 51 kilometers of range. Charging from empty to full takes just 2 hours 45 minutes. Although the petrol engine is just 2 liters displacement, together with the electric motor, you get 404 horsepower and 640 Nm of torque, and it does 0 to 100 km per hour in less than 7 seconds. As far as exterior is concerned, there were some cosmetic changes around the headlights and tail lamps and bumpers depending on the trim. SVR also gets 2 air intakes in this carbon fiber bonnet. Besides a PHEV, engine lineup includes 4, 6 and 8-cylinder engines, petrol or diesel. Interior quality has improved significantly. There are no squeaks or creaks, everything opens and closes without a hitch. SVR's sporty character is underlined with optional carbon fiber bits of trim. Sitting inside this car, you have no doubt why prices start at over 130 grand. As part of the facelift, we also get the new JLR infotainment system, which we've seen in the Velar. Click the link in the upper right corner to watch this review as I talk more about the infotainment system there. One of my favorite functions is the off-road view through the bonnet. But for big screens like these, 360-degree view is too small. Volvo is right to have vertical screen orientation. By the way, for this big a car, steering column is quite low and I keep hitting it with my knee when getting in. I can't drop the seat any lower, and raising the steering column any further will obstruct my view of the instruments. Steering column actually raises automatically when I turn off the ignition, but it's not enough, and I'm not even that tall. There's plenty of room in the back. There are 12-volt sockets, 230-volt socket and USB ports. I like that there is a warning signal for passengers getting out. Anything to keep your kids safe is always a welcome addition. There is a lot of hard-to-use space under the boot floor where an optional spare tire can cover this air suspension canister.
How do I sum up a car like this? It offers supercar performance, off-road ability of a Range Rover. It's got spacious and luxurious interior. Is it worth almost 170,000 euro or 2,000 euro in monthly leasing installments? I guess at this price range you buy a car because you like it, not because it's worth the money.
And what do you think? Should a car be worth the money or just be fun? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please help me on Patreon or PayPal, links in the description below. Hit that bell icon to get notifications every time I post, and join me for another review next Friday or as soon as you click one of the links on the screen.